Here. Here. Here.
To the agenda. First of all, I want to remove the recess to executive session, so we do not need to go into executive session. Second, I'd like to move item number 11 up to item number 2, and move item number 7 up to item number 3, and then we'll follow the rest of the agenda. We have the village attorney here. I'd like for him to talk about these items while he's here. Is that okay with the board? All right, so we'll go to item number 3, which is the village adjudicator call, village prosecutor, and I know that trustee Williams had some questions on this, but I also did also. So, okay. Well, if she has additional questions, we can bring it back into the committee meeting. But currently we have an adjudicator that is under Giannopoulos. I'm going to be asking the board not to renew them, and we'll put in Overson and Stirk as our adjudicators. So the dates for them to start, there's one more court early July. We'll let the transition happen from July to August. We'll let Giannopoulos group do the one in early July. Overson and Stirk will take over after that. Yeah.
No, there's actually, I can get you a copy of a memorandum that's prepared by the, I think it's the Illinois State Bar Association. That you do both. Sure.
So we have a little bit of time before they take over. But there'll be a transition. They can also get with the current adjudicator, find out if there's any open cases. That's what that has to continue, things like that.
Good, I would like to sit down with the chiefs with the police department and get some ideas on how to expand it, which, you know, we're going to help the village. But I guess Mr. Rohan to run the figures. I don't have it with me, but over a 12-month period, if you look at how much money was taken in the fines and fees for both the adjudication and prosecution compared to what you spent on attorney's fees, you know, it's not even close. It was something about $50,000 in attorney's fees for both over a 12-month period, and total fines and fees collected by the village were under $3,000.
Yes. The rate is going to remain the same, what we're currently paying them. In fact, it will end up being $10 less an hour than what we're currently paying Giannopoulos.
Right. This is basically the same hourly rate that were currently charged the village. Trustee Burgess would be the same rate. I don't know what rate Mr. Giannopoulos would be paid.
He was paid $175 an hour.
Yeah. It would be $175 an hour.
No,
That's what
that's
he
what
would be.
Giannopoulos.
So we're gonna go back, we're gonna keep, we'll be paying the village attorney.
Yes.
Okay. And you have no idea who that adjudicator or prosecutor would be at this time?
Yeah, I believe the adjudicator would be myself or Matt Byrne, and we have two attorneys that all they do is prosecutions in the Markham and Bridger courthouses.
So just for the record though, maybe a quick refresher. The adjudicator is the one that does all the tickets for the code.
Correct.
And the prosecutor does the one for the police department.
Correct. Well, there's also tickets written by the police department.
Good.
Certain tickets that can be heard by the adjudicator that's written by the police department. Any movie violations have to be in the circuit court. And the problem with that is that 7 years ago, courthouses made it mandatory to collect court costs and fees, which years ago they did. So if somebody got a speeding ticket, somebody got an attorney or went to court, in supervision, you fine $150 or $125, and then the county, the municipality would split that. And I think the municipality, I think they get 20% or 25%. They don't get a majority of the money that comes from the fine. But now they've changed it. So now the court costs and fees, anyone that's in the unfortunate experience of getting a speeding ticket or going through a stop sign, it's about $180. So given the economy and I'm struggling with what the judges are doing, in a lot of cases are just hitting people with fines and fees and then waiving, they're hitting them up with the court costs and the fees and not putting them in a fine. So what you're finding out is that a lot of people aren't getting any money because the judge, if it's sorry for, a soccer mom comes up and goes through a stop sign and it's with $180 that she has to pay and doesn't see the merit in, tacking on another $100. So you have to pay for a prosecutor to be there, otherwise all the tickets would be thrown out. But there's a way of hopefully getting more tickets or more charges at the adjudication level where all the money goes to the municipality and it's not shared with the county.
Okay, thank you. And also, Mayor, we did talk about this at the beginning, and we weren't even getting close to what we were paying out the adjudicated prosecutor from not even close. I didn't know that until after we saw the budget. So. Okay.
Any other questions for the attorney? Trustee Myers?
One more question. Does it go for board approval on the next agenda?
Yes.
I give you a call tomorrow, what the ordinances on it that we've passed and don't pass that includes fill out the communicator.
Motion, right? Yes.
The trustee just has to make sure it's okay that you call the attorney tomorrow and go over some ordinances that we just recently passed.
Yeah, it's feel that's on board that you really should know about and everything.
Yes.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, move to item number 4. I'm sorry, it's 4 on the Illinois Hazardous Mitigation Plan. And I brought this before you, but I'm glad that the attorney's here. We talked about, we should have received the letter, I think a copy of the letter we received from Cook County, the Homeland Security Emergency Management. And what we're looking to do is to appoint, I don't have my stuff with me. That's what I was going back to look for. That's what I was looking for. But I don't have it for you. What we're looking for is to appoint someone to be the liaison between Homeland Security and the village board. And as you can see, that as you currently know, the issues that we saw in Oklahoma and some of the other major disasters that we've seen over the years. But some of the other disasters that we've seen throughout the years, it's important that we have a person that's a liaison between Homeland Security and the village, so that we can make sure that we have the resources that we need, that we're getting the information that's needed for our municipalities. So what we're looking at is the person that we want to appoint to this. Now, looking at a lot of the paperwork, it's usually the mayor. So again, we're coming to the village board, but also I'd like to make sure that we set up a backup. Just in case something happens, if the mayor's not here, we have someone else that can fall right in line. I think that based off our thoughts on the budget hearings and looking at the board for your advice, we know that we're looking at changing the name of our current PESDA to go right along with Homeland Security. I think Art, being the director, would be the perfect person to fall in right behind the mayor, since he will be heading up that department. Is that Any questions, comments on that one?
Matter of fact, I gave the attorney a copy of the name change to be proposed and out to the trustees on the, our president as of the change to Sauk. Talk about Homeland Security, emergency response to man. So that way, again, it opens up, as I said, open up funding.
Correct.
No problem.
All right, so if there's no problem with that, then I'll ask for it to be on the agenda for next Tuesday night. That the mayor would be the main contact liaison between Homeland Security with as the director, when the names soon to change, Art Johnson, or the director, probably should leave as director in case something ever happens. The director would be the backup. All right?
Mr. Mayor, have you talked to Art at all about this, or?
I have not.
Okay.
You think I have a problem?
No, they won't have a problem. They should be aware of what's happening.
No, that's fine. I would think you would probably encourage it, especially since we're changing the name of the department. Right. All right, so we'll move to, we'll come back to you, because we already did yours. All right, so now that my agenda is all messed up, what number are we on? 5, right? 5? Red speed. All right. So we move to item number 5, red speed Illinois. Mike, I don't know if you have anything else, Mike, before you leave?
No.
All right, appreciate it very much. All right. I know we have someone here from Red Speed Illinois. You want to do the introductions for us?
Sure, I'll do a quick introduction. Have a representative from the city of Vermont who's going to do a short presentation on red light cameras in the village. Red speed, Illinois, the south suburbs, and each one area for red light cameras, speed cameras, railroad crossing cameras. So I'd like to introduce my viewers. He's our representative, and
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to present our program to you all. I'll just give you 1 second here. I don't know. I might need some help with lights. Yeah, dark. Okay. I'm pretty close to it. To your back, but it works better for you all to see that. And I can speak for the audience as well. Okay, thanks again, Mike Liebert, Red Speed, Illinois. We'll start the program right into it. Actually, I'm a little bit high here, so I'm going to try to adjust. I might have to come in. Okay. Red light enforcement programs. I gotta get used to this microphone. Red light photo enforcement programs are produced to change driver behavior. It's a little bit low here where you're seeing this, but that's the whole idea. We're here to change driver behavior. We want them to obey the law. There's a formula that we use. It's these 3 E's right here. It's engineering, education, and enforcement. And when you put that formula together, you come up with intersection safety. We are very, very big on education along with enforcement. Obviously, the engineering is done. IDOT does a pretty good job with the roads. So the first piece is done. The education part we will help you with, and the enforcement certainly is up to par. Well, first, I thought it would be helpful if you could see what the camera sees. So I threw a couple of videos in here. it's pretty amazing what we end up seeing on film. Whenever a squad's not around, people tend to drive the way they want to drive.
They were texting.
And this one here, this one hurts every time I see it. The poor guy walking at the bottom there. You know, you'd ask yourself, why would somebody do that? And almost always what we find is when people don't stop before making that right-hand turn, they're looking left and driving right. And that's the kind of thing that we see. Well, why do we want to change driver behavior? Well, certainly there's about 1,000 Americans killed and 176,000 more injured due to red light running related crashes. Costs our country about $14 billion a year. Cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco have used red light programs and are reporting intersections reduced crashes from 20 to 80%. Typically, we're hearing back from our clients that are telling us that they typically see about a 40% reduction in crashes. And all the programs are designed to reduce the violations, make the intersection safer, and change driver behavior. Okay, what happens first if the violation gets captured? Picture 1 shows the pavement marking so that you can show that the light was red and the car was in front of the intersection prior to the intersection when the light turned red. The next picture, again, we're off the screen a little bit here, but the next picture will show the car going through the intersection, and then the third picture shows a close-up of the license plate, and then there's a video that goes along with it that shows about 8 to 12 seconds, so that when we send the video to the police department, they can review it, they can see from start to finish what happens on the violation. And if the police department does review that, does approve that as a ticket, that same video that the police officer used to make his mind up or her mind up as to issue a ticket or not will be available for the violator to view prior to going to adjudication, so they can make up their mind if they want to just pay it or if they want to come to court and fight it. The processing, we do everything. We do all of the processing. So by the time that a police officer here at Sauk Village would see this violation, it's already been seen by 3 sets of eyes at our office. After it's been reviewed 3 times and sent to the Secretary of State for the license plate information, then we send it over to the police department. And we obviously train the police officers on how to use our equipment. By the way, we will supply all the equipment and everything that they need here, including a laptop for adjudications, so that we can provide the police department with the equipment they need to review it, as well as an adjudicator. So when they review it, come adjudication time, they'll also have that laptop available to them. Violation has the date and time, obviously. It has the intersection location, it has the speed of the car, and obviously the person. The back office processing and reporting we do as well. That's a copy of a ticket that would be similar to what would be issued to a violator. You can see the photos on the front of the ticket, and there's also a website that's listed on there so that each violator could go to the website and view their violation so they can make up their mind. We print all the tickets, we mail them out, we do everything. We take all of the responsibilities that you would need to have this program and managed professionally. And when I say we do all the mailings, we mail a ticket. If we don't get a response, we send out another notice. If we don't get a response, we send out a third notice. If we get a response and the person says, well, I'm going to pay, and they pay you with a bad check, we will send them another notice, tell them that they now owe you for the cost that your bank is going to charge you plus the $100. If they pay you for a partial payment, we will take the partial payment for you, and then we'll send them another letter, and we will send them until we get either payment or the ticket runs its course, at which time then we will send it over to your collection agency for you. Basically, this program is managed and performed everything by Red Speed staff except for the police officers saying, yes, this is a good ticket, send it. Everything else is done by us. We schedule all the hearings and we prepare the package every month for the police department so that we will send it over once a month, and everything that the adjudicator needs will be in that packet. And it's all downloaded onto the computer, so it's very, very simple. It's all automated, and the adjudicators that we use now are pretty impressed with our system. We also have the ability to provide the police department with data concerning what the camera sees going through the intersection as far as speed of vehicles, numbers of vehicles, and things like that. So in fact, the police department will be able to, from their desk, use our equipment if there was an accident and they had two parties giving different sides of the story, they were unable to decide who is at fault. They can bring the parties back to the station and they can go backwards and they can look at the crash right here in the station, right, police station. If there's a crime that's occurred overnight and the police want to go backwards to look and see if the vehicles could have gone through that camera, they have the ability to do that. If there's something going on in town and you've got a parade and your parade is going down that intersection where that camera's at, the police department will have the ability to stream live 1 second behind real time and watch that intersection right from the police desk. This is the website that the person that gets a ticket can go to, www.redlightviolations.com, and everything that we provided to the police department in order so that the officers can make their decision as to issue a ticket or not will be available to the violator. We manage the whole project for the police department. We will work with the staff here, identify the intersections, then we'll go out and perform analysis. We send our engineers out, and our engineers will decide, come back to us and say, yes, this is an intersection that we can, in fact, install equipment at. Then we will do traffic studies. Once we get that information, then we'll come back to the police department. We'll sit down and go over the intersections that we've reviewed and talked about, and together we will make a decision as to where we put cameras, and then we will apply for all the necessary permits. We're the first company in Illinois to get an IDOT permit for a red light camera at an intersection. We're very proud of that. I would, off the top of my head, I would say we've got somewhere more than 160 or 170 permits in the state right now where we have cameras working. We will work with the chief to send over a timetable so that if you all have questions as to where the project is at, then he will be able to provide that information. Typically, we send that over every other week. It's important to understand that when you're dealing with an IDOT intersection, it's a very time-consuming, complicated project to get IDOT to get through this permitting process. On one hand, I will say this, because I think IDOT is very strict about how we use this equipment, I think it's provided Illinois with an outstanding program that states around us have looked to try to emulate. And then we'll do all the training and provide, again, the adjudicator support, where we'll take the police officers that are going to be working on the equipment and the adjudicator that's going to review the cases, and we'll train them how to use the equipment. The community awareness program, this goes back to that middle E in our formula. We think it's very, very important to get out into your community and make sure that they understand what this red light camera program is all about. We will provide you with a very robust and ongoing program. We provide CDs that you can put to the cable station and run. We will have posters made specifically for your community that you can put up around town at the grocery stores. We'll have bookmarkers made up that you can send to the schools. We will work with your police department to get something up on your website. We'll put a project question and answer fact sheet together so that the police officers on the street, when they get asked about it, they can actually give something to people to help them make sure that we're giving them good, accurate information. And our posters, those were developed by us. They're use your head, stop on red. and we're pretty proud of them. We hope one day that that's as popular as Click It or Ticket. And then we will help the village with press releases, advising of our partnership, and talking about what intersections we'll be going to, providing the press with when the cameras will start to work, when they'll be issuing morning tickets, and then when they will go live. I know that's a lot of information, and I tried to get through it. But if you have any questions, I can certainly try to answer those for you. I can also tell you that our office is located in Lombard, and I offer for the chief and anybody else that has interest in coming to see how the program is managed to pay us a visit anytime.
My first question, the percentage breakdown as far as revenue for the village, and as far as how much, in other words, what percentage do you get, what percentage of the village?
Okay, the fine is if somebody were to pay the ticket without it going to late fees, the fine is $100. And if we were to charge you for every service that we would charge you for, it typically breaks down to be about $40 for us and $60 for you. And that's if we perform every service. Like we provide a service of a 1-800 number. So if somebody has a question, they can call the 1-800 number. That number is available in several different languages, and it is recorded. And so that is only probably about 10% of the time do violators call it. So if the violator doesn't call the 1-800 number, then you don't get charged for that service.
Now, the equipment is everything is maintained by Red Speed, correct?
Correct. It's purchased, installed, and maintained by us.
So, okay. And before the tickets are issued, we would have to, you stated that we would go before, whoever sends it would review it before the police department before they're sent out, correct?
Correct. It's before a violator gets a ticket, it's viewed 3 times by our staff and once by the police department. 4 times. 4 separate sets of eyes before a ticket goes out.
Now, those are the questions, because you already answered the other question. Besides these municipalities, do you have any municipalities that are close proximity here in South Suburb?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Does he have any other, I saw the municipalities that they have there north. Do you have, are you currently working in municipalities in South
Yes,
Suburb?
right next door to Linwood, this camera right
Is it
over
right on
there.
here?
Yeah, these 2 cameras here are Linwood.
Okay, no, I'm saying it's his references or whatever were on there, so that's what I'm asking.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said north.
Right, he had everything up north, proximity.
Yeah, if you do Linwood and Chicago Heights too.
South Chicago Heights, also, excuse me, not also, Worth.
That's your camera right there on
there's-
South Trail?
I'm sorry,
That's your camera on South Trail and State Street?
is that in Linwood?
South.
South Heights.
South Chicago Heights.
South
Trail,
Chicago Heights,
is
yes.
that your camera
Yes.
right there on South Trail and State Street?
Yes, in South Chicago Heights, yes. I will tell you though that the cameras that you're used to seeing will not be the camera that you will get. You will be the first community if you do sign with us to get our new equipment, and it's a much smaller blueprint, it's a much better camera, and it's state-of-the-art stuff.
My last question, is there any cost layout that we have to do, we have to pay for in advance to get it?
No, this is totally, it's the finances are totally on us, and it's completely on your part, funded by violators. No tax dollars are used.
Okay, so now the payoffs, are they monthly, quarterly, annually?
It's every month, all of the revenue that comes in, minus our fees that we charge, gets sent to the village,
Thank you.
once a month.
I have a question. How soon from the point of violation does the police department get the information?
Typically, let's just say if we get it on Monday, they get it on Tuesday. They could get it on Monday afternoon as well. But yes, unless it happens on a Friday, and then they're going to get it on Monday.
Okay. And then my question would be, would any officer be able to review this, or have you guys thought about only certain, like the sergeants, or how would that work?
Something we're currently looking at right now, but I would say there's going to be several officers, so then we have all the shifts covered at
Right.
maybe, but we definitely have more than one person.
Okay. And then is there a specific type of training that needs to happen?
Yes, just to use the equipment. The equipment that we're going to provide to the police department, we will train them on how to use that equipment.
Okay.
Any other questions?
May I interrupt for 1 second, Larry? Mike, could you just tell them a little bit about future outlooks, like the new railroad cameras, things of that sort of coming out?
Yes, there is currently a law in Illinois that allows for enforcement of railroad crossings, just like red light cameras. Take a picture of the back plate, and it's mailed to the person that owns the vehicle, and then they'll pay the fine. This equipment that we're going to set you up with is adaptable to do railroads as well. We are also just in the process right now. Our lobbyists have worked very hard, and we've managed to get a new law get to the governor's desk. We hope he signs it, which will allow these cameras to also be placed on school buses for school bus violations. So they will be auto enforced as well.
Where are we looking at? Do we know, have you looked at what intersections?
Yeah, I think they did studies there, and they're come out and work with the police department to identify the areas.
Yeah, we'll look at all of them.
Yes, sir.
If I'm turning on that light, how many seconds will I have to stand in before I can turn it?
That's a great question. That's a great question. It's a myth. It's a myth. There's no time limit as far as how long you have to stop. Your vehicles, the law says that your vehicle has to come to a full and complete stop. Your wheels have to stop moving. So how do you know that your vehicle stops? Physics. You're coming to an intersection, your car, when you hit the brakes, it dips forward. Wait for it to come back up. When it comes back up, you're stopped. Look to the left, look to the right, and go.
Any other questions, comments from the trustees?
Right, you never put your brakes on your car.
That we have to have contracts.
Yeah, typically, Mayor, what happens? Typically, what happens is that once you all authorize your attorney to go into contract negotiations with us, we will have our attorney contact your attorney with a contract, and then they'll negotiate it and get it in front of the board so the board can sign it.
All right, but I think what we'll probably have to do is go forward with a vote from the board to approve, to move forward on those contract negotiations. So we'll find out for sure what we have to do, but if something needs to be put on the agenda next Tuesday night, is that okay with the board? I would ask that this be placed on, we're going to talk about it tonight, consent agenda for next week. All right?
Just so that you know, what we typically do is we send over to the village's attorney the contract, and then we also have a sample IDOT hold harmless that IDOT requires to move forward on an IDOT intersection, and an ordinance sample, so that everything can come in front of the board one time, and then we can go to work with the police department and not get delayed bringing things back and forth.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you. You're going to take it from there, right? You'll take care of everything? All right, we'll move to the next, Mr. Mohan, closing bank accounts that are not being used. Thank you for more. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and the Board. I'm requesting the FDF Land Bank Columbus Bank and Trust account needs to be closed because of the lack of participants. Normally, if it is one or two participants are there, it is meaningless, and it is costing the village for nothing. So therefore, I request the board to approve the canceling, closing of this account and credit whatever the balance available in the bank account to general fund. It is the general funds revenue that we can transfer back to general fund. Nobody is using that account.
Just to say, right.
Can't hear you.
What is the
It
cafeteria?
is the cafeteria plan is a plan where employees can take the money out of their paycheck every month on a tax-free basis.
And use it for?
Use it for medical purposes.
Oh, okay, because I saw cafeteria, I'm surprised.
It's not cafeteria.
Right,
It's
that's
for
just,
medical
we don't have a
purposes.
cafeteria, that's why.
That's called, the plan is called cafeteria plan.
Okay,
Cafeteria plan 125, according to the IRS
one
regulations.
who named that.
So therefore, we are not using this money, and there's no point in keeping this
But
money.
that, how does, you said it was for the employees to take money out of their account. Who put money in that account?
The employees' money is taken out of their paycheck every month and deposited into
Right.
Columbus Bank and Trust. It is somewhere in Georgia.
Okay, but now, that money that's in there, whose money, the employees put that in?
Yes, employees put that in. The employees are supposed to take the money, whatever they put it, by the February 28th of the following fiscal year. If they don't take it out, if they don't claim it, the money belongs to the village. And the
It
village
reverts back to the village.
Yes. We had almost about $6,000 or $7,000, and therefore I request the board to okay for the cancellation and put the money back.
It sounds like the same thing I had at my work, where you take so much money out of your check, you put it into accounts, like a special account, be used for doctors, dentists, medication,
That's right.
and you get it out at no taxes to buy that. However, the money has to be used within 1 year. If you do not use
It
it,
has to be used
Right.
within 1 year. And the following year, within February 28th of every year. If you don't claim the money, it's history, it's gone. It's for the village to keep.
Do we know, just asking, do we know who actually put money in there?
I don't have the information. There were a couple of employees, they did not take the money, they did not use the complete plan as of February 20th. Therefore, it is, the money is still there and we can transfer it right away.
Can you send us a email about when?
We can.
Yeah, no, about what time period
The time period probably way back to 2010, 2008 or still further back.
but I think it's important, I just want to make sure that we're not, bound by contract to make sure we have.
Absolutely, there is no contract. According to the IRS regulations,
No, I'm talking about like by contract with our current unions, that we have to have this account, I just want to be sure. That it's not part of the negotiations and part of their
no,
contract.
it's not part of the negotiation.
Okay.
It has its own regulations. It's not a part of any of the contract.
I was just wondering because, we still have employees that paid into it, but you said after a year, it goes back to the village, so thank you very much, whoever that was, they gave us, how much, you said, $6,000?
As $7,000 almost. As I said, they cannot claim and we cannot pay after February 20th. That is the deadline every year. If I put in $1,200, I have to bring in $1,200 worth of bills and get reimbursed. If I bring in only $1,000, $2,200 remaining balance, it is gone after 28th of February.
It takes a lot of planning. I know because I know we've got people at my work that do it. And usually, a lot of times you see individuals who are on medicine that they take all the time, so they know that every month they have a bill to buy that medicine. They use that, and they don't pay taxes on it. And like I said, sometimes
I
people
have-
buy it, they don't do it.
Even, I hate to say that I have lost a couple $100 for almost about 3 or 4 years, so I don't use a discount for the latest benefits. So.
Thank you very
Therefore,
much.
there is no point in keeping this account. Therefore, I request the board and mayor to approve it. Will just go
Well,
away.
yeah, we'll take your money, but.
Yes,
Any other questions for Ron?
it's a free month.
All right, we'll have it on the agenda for next Tuesday. And I'd also like to add this on the consent agenda.
There's one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Closing of the Citibank account.
Citibank account, we had almost about $21,000 in TIF 2 tax living money that was pledged as a guarantee to the developer. And since there are no developers right now in TIF 2, this is a tax levy money that was deposited into Citibank's account on behalf of Village of Sauk Village that was maintained by Wyman Harris for almost about 6 or 7
Wow,
years.
Mayor.
Wyman Harris, I'm sorry.
But was it labeled TIF 2?
It was labeled TIF 2.
I think we need to reach out to Mary Thompson to verify.
Yeah, because I don't know if we can do that job. Sure.
And because TIF 2 has not paid any administrative fees so far for almost about 6 or 7 years.
Okay, so you're gonna title it a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You do a draw.
Okay, you title it a draw, then I can understand.
So we do a draw for the remainder of the amount and close the account off. All right, just, I would ask you to verify with Mary if that money was put there, because she has a lot of history, Mary Thompson, and she remembers a lot of things, and we have a lot of new people on the board. We'll check those accounts up. Make sure. All right, any other questions on that? If everything works out, I'd like to have that signed consent agenda also. All right, thank you very much. With item number 6, transfer to the asset forfeiture and K-9 bank account. Go ahead. Deputy Chief, you step up here on this one too. We can hear the pros and the cons. Go ahead.
Oh, is it,
You want to transfer to K-9?
K-9 fortune,
Yes,
asset forfeiture.
I apologize, I didn't know it was going to be on the agenda today, but however, both the asset forfeiture and the K-9 bank accounts were taken away from the police department under the old administration in 2010. Since that time, it has not come under the control of the police department once again. Asset forfeiture, and I'm sure you can consult with attorneys, there is a state statute that says the police department must control that money at all times. Of course, you know, we've used the fund previously with approval of the board, so, you know, we just can't spend that money like we own it. Any money that's spent out of that account has to come through the board anyways, but I want to get back, you know, back in line with what the state requires. And yeah, I'm sure you've been hearing recently from some of our risk management people on that there's a lot of things that needs to happen for us to make things right. The K-9 account, same instance, the checkbook was taken away from us back in 2010 under the old administration, and we're just asking to get those accounts back under our control again. Our new K-9 officer is coming in. Those funds that he seizes are going to go into the K-9 account, and we'll be using that account quite naturally, which I believe is being used now anyways, is to support our current K-9 program, which is food
medicine, things of that sort. So that's about it. I'm just asking to, place both of these counts back in the control of the police department.
Questions or comments?
Asset forfeiture, is that a drug seizure type?
Yes. Asset forfeiture account is the state-run program for all money that we seize for any drug seizures, narcotics, things of that sort. Total fund is general fund.
So, how, is there money in these two funds come on?
There's about $21,000 in that fund. And canine, everything has been right up. Paid for canine and whatever it is, almost
So there's no money in the account.
there is some money that I plan to withdraw the money because general fund has other funds that are. Money from canine.
Okay, so the village borrowed the money from K-9. So we're going to expend it.
Canine had about $3,500. Out of $3,500, I withdrew half of $3,500 to pay for canine training. And another half was supposed to have been withdrawn, I can't withdraw them. I still left out almost about $1,300 still there in canine. I'm planning to withdraw that one also because general fund upfronted canine expenditure for almost about $500,000. Right now we have about $1,300.
Any questions? Comments?
Can't hear you.
I think what we'll do is I will have our liaison with the finance department, which is trustee Burgess,
Okay.
work with Mr. Mohan and the chief to review and make sure that we have all the numbers. Make sure everything's correct.
Okay, all right.
All right. I think what we'll do is let's make sure we have all the numbers correct. Let's make sure where we're at. I mean, we have some additional questions. We know everything has come through the village board, but I just want to make sure how we're going to do it going forward. And let's wait 2 weeks. Let's have you guys get together. Let's bring it back before the village board in 2 weeks, and then we'll get voting on it in 3 weeks. All right, or whatever the consent of the board is, either voting or not voting on it. All right, let's make sure we get everything together first. All right. 2 weeks, we get back on the meeting. All right. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to Intergovernmental Relations Committee, Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This committee is a brand new formed committee. Our purpose is to be an intergovernmental advisory council composed of members that's selected by the committee chairman. And we will be working with various governmental bodies and agencies throughout the village and hopefully at some point in time throughout the south suburban area to work together on a mutual beneficial endeavor that will bring public awareness to Sauk Village. Our committee, right now we're recruiting members to actually sit on the committee But we're gonna include as many people to, once we get everything started, get our bylaws, get our mission statement and everything like that, and we're gonna present that to the board. So at this point in time, that's what we're aiming to do, and to get as many taxing bodies that benefit from the village and also ours to work together for the betterment of the village. And that's what it's going to be.
Sounds good. All right, any questions from the trustee? Maybe you have a lot of work ahead of you, so.
We have a lot of people. Well, yes, I mean, we will, I'm hoping to at one time, maybe, who knows, down the road, I'm sure some of the trustees that have been to some of the different presentations throughout the south suburbs, that they have South Suburban mayors and managers come and give presentations on behalf of communities. Maybe one day we can do something like that too.
All right, well, if you ever need help, just let me know.
Okay.
So, looking forward to it. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, move to the next one, which is block parties. I asked the chief come back in for this one. 100 block parties. We should have received a packet with a memo coming from the deputy chief talking about block parties. We have before us 2 individuals that like to have a block party. I think I gave you all copies of them, right? Okay, so what you have is the first one, which is over on 219th Street. She looks like it came from a hurricane. Hope that's there, right? She's got a nice little diagram on exactly where she wants to have the road blocked off. I think it has the times. And then we have another one, which is over, I think this is over by your area. Looks like our one on Brookwood. Oh, at the other end? Okay. So usually what happens is in the past, it comes to the village board approves to have these block parties. It's been years.
Yeah, we didn't have.
It's probably, it has to be at least 7, 8 years, isn't it? So it has to be, because I only remember voting on probably one, if that. Usually what happens, police department reviews it, they pass it over to the village board either says yea or nay, and we tell Public Works to go ahead and give them some barricades, block it off, and then I'll pick it up. Or usually what happens is they drop them off, if it's on over the weekend, they'll drop it off on Friday, people can put them up, and people remove them, they come back on Monday, pick them back up. I think this is good for the communities. If the neighborhoods are getting out there, they're having parties, I've always encouraged this kind of stuff, this kind of activities within our community. So, now I'm asking the board that we move forward on this, approving these block parties and giving them what they need, some barricades. I think one of them's even doing a blow-up thing, so the kids can come in the neighborhood and jump on it. So, is there just
what about alcohol? Is alcohol going to be at this party and that's going to be used on our streets? Is it, or do they have to stay on private property?
I think they have to abide by the state laws and ordinances. I would think that probably people, if they're going to be cooking, they're probably cooking in their yard. Probably, yeah.
So is that
And I think what we can do is we can type something up, since this is new again, is just give them some simple rules, and we'll look through you to come with those little bullet points saying, you know, no intoxication, no drinking on the village streets. If you're going to do it, it has to be within your yard. Things like that. Again, a lot of times these block parties are for the neighbors. Yeah, no beer tents, no selling of alcohol.
next question? Is our public works going to be charged responsible for cleaning up the street afterward, or are they going to clean up?
No, usually what happens in the past, I'm going back probably 7 years, if not more. If they're on the weekends, Public Works would drop off some barricades at the house, the person requested it. Their responsibility was to block the streets off where they requested, and at the end of their time, they were supposed to pick up the barricades, put them right back where Public Works
So
drop them off.
I feel that should be also mentioned in the letter that goes back to them.
Yeah. And I would hope, since it's their area, their neighborhood, you would hope, and we assume that they're going to clean up after themselves. But again, that's a great point to put on the bullet point, that they are responsible for their cleanup and making sure that everything's put back. Trustee Williams.
I'm assuming because one of them has, this first person has
I mean, if we have a consensus, we're going to be voting after the fact. She'd probably be catching me at church on Sunday when I know what the mayor's doing. No, she's not.
I was curious.
But most people know where I'm at on Sunday morning, so. Oh, is it this Saturday?
Yes.
Oh, so Sunday, the after the fact. All right. So we'll have to stop by our house and see if we have consensus to move forward.
I just have one question, and that's for every board. In the future, are we going to, because one person came and asked for the whole block to be blocked off for the house, do you need consensus from any of the other residents in the block? I mean, if you, okay, right here, I'm looking at this one, there's two homes that I see that, they're only going 4 homes across.
Right. And plus, they also say that it still be accessible for
Right.
people to go.
But I'm just wondering, in the future, we need to think about it, if we do this, I mean, are we gonna ask for permission or at least for some type of consensus from the neighbors? Because if one person is just having this for themselves, they block off the street, I mean, anyone else may not agree with, or are we gonna ask them?
Right. I mean,
I would think a lot harder than more than one family.
But
I'm looking at,
right,
that's two families.
right.
I'm just saying that if it's going to be a block party, definitely a block party, it might be.
multiple families.
If one house is having a party, I'm.
Are we gonna ask them, at least ask their residents, or ask their neighbors to, is it okay that I block all 6 houses and one of yours may be included? And so, because, I mean, we have our rate neighbors to come back, I didn't get questions for that. I'm not involved in that, this and that, I mean, you all, to the point of stuff, say it's okay to have a party in front of my house, and I said, but
I'm going to try to make up a form.
No, I think you probably should, and I would ask, who wants this? This ordinance, or is it public relations, or?
this falls under, but it's,
Well, I would have to work with the police department,
your microphone.
but. Yeah. I think maybe 2 weeks we want to come back and revisit this, but before we do, I'd like to see something drawn up with, if we want to work with ordinance, if we want to work with human relations and the police department, get together and come across with some bullet points, some great questions. Because as we sit here and brainstorm, I think that there's some great questions that are coming up that probably even I didn't think of when you start talking about asking your neighbors and making sure. I assume the same thing at the block party, that all the neighbors are getting involved. So I would look for, if Rosie or Mr. Myers, if you guys don't get with the police department, come up with something, and in 2 weeks come back to the village board and say, this is pretty much an application that needs to be filled out.
I would, one of the things that Mayor was
I don't know.
Last page, there it is.
He doesn't have a diagram, how far are we going?
Her mother said she wanted to block up her house because she got that funky house. Which I'm assuming is street. So.
Probably block one lane or something, so there still should be access going through there.
On this location, and part of that.
It's probably gonna go from me, or she probably wants enough space on either side. You're gonna have kids running around that monkey castle on both sides. So probably gonna give enough, her entire yard and probably partially the next one.
Because she goes further, it says it will not affect drivers from being able to enter Brookwood or exit Brookwood.
You're gonna have to be able to, not have to jump in because the kids right there.
I think she said that, I'm assuming she means that somebody's gonna do it, insurance on this side of it, insurance on this side of it, so she probably looking to block off, just like the other one diagram, to block off the entire side of the street. Because I was assuming you wouldn't want anybody driving past that, and that's ridiculous. Right.
Yeah.
No. Maybe something have to park on both sides of the street?
There's an occasion where we've, extended it, and like, like the people be out, but there's occasions that are, their graduations.
One, two, So do we have consensus for these first two, and then in 2 weeks you come back with a regular form that has to be filled out, and it'll make it a little easier for the police department, a little easier for the front desk going forward? Oh, it's their street. I think so too. I think we have it come from you, and then you should have a better understanding when you go talk to this individual, that where are you putting it at, so you can, if you have any red flags, you can come back, at least let us know. We're in only a short period of time. Just, yeah. Okay, Trustee Washington? Mike.
We plan to have a lot of block club parties with the neighborhood watch, and we were not aware of a form, so I'm glad that we're gonna formulate it now, so if there's gonna be some criteria, we do need to know.
Right.
Thank you.
And just remember, no public intoxication. All right, anything else? All right, I'll ask this to be placed on the consent agenda for next Tuesday night. Thank you for sticking around. We're going to be approval after that. All right, next, July 6th, fireworks, Trustee Clancy. Did everyone receive their packet and their,
Everyone should have received the packet from the Mad Bomber. I went out to solicit for firework displays. I was trying to get 3. I ended up with 2, and of course the third one showed up today. So, but this is the one I'm recommending at the moment. I'll put everything in there, a copy. If you look at the back of it, it tells you exactly what the shells are, what will be involved in it. The cost is on the front. If you have noticed that it said July 3rd, that I have crossed that out and said July 6th. I've already communicated with the person here, and they said that's not a problem. So, I'm just asking the board to approve it. Go ahead.
How long is the show?
When I asked the guy that question, he said it depends on the person who actually fires the show. You can talk to him a little bit, you slow it down. It'll be anywhere from 20 minutes to 35 minutes, depending on the person.
Okay, and then, the fee, I think the fee is due after the show.
That is correct.
Is it, do we have a payment schedule, or is it one lump sum?
From what my understanding was one lump sum,
Okay, and then it's due within like
30 days after.
Okay.
And they are providing all the insurance and everything. Mr. Myers has graciously volunteered to make sure that the area that they have is nice and safe and will be behind the doors. It says they have $5 million worth of insurance.
We do need the mayor and the fire chief.
I want to see the village board question first.
Okay, go ahead.
Where's the money coming from?
Okay, I've been doing some fundraising. We have some, when we don't have the complete 5,000 yet, I'm still trying. That's why this is a work in project. Work in progress. So yes, I do have over half of it currently. So I'm hopeful to get the rest of it, and if anybody like to make donations, I'll accept them right now. So,
But what's your contingency plan, is what I'm saying.
well, we
because reason what I'm saying, we get ready to enter into a contract. And this contract is dated 30 days after. So in other words, 30 days after July 6th, they want their money.
Correct.
And you say you have half of it, so what is the contingency plan if you don't get the other half?
We'll probably have to cancel, but we haven't signed the contract yet, and I'm not planning on signing it until, we don't have to get it to them for another couple of weeks yet, so I want to see where I'm sitting at that point. I have several letters out, several fundraising things out, and we're hopefully.
So then what do you want us to approve? What?
Well, I was told I had to do a contract before. I can't
Correct.
I cannot wait till the last minute to discuss this.
No.
So I'm doing it a couple weeks.
Correct. No, it's no problem. I'm just wondering, what's the contingency if you don't get all the money? What do you plan on? You said that you're not gonna have the show?
Yes. Either way, we have, on July 6th, we're planning on having a parade, and we're gonna have some, vendors here behind the village hall to try to have a celebration for the 4th of July, or the 6th of July, I guess it actually will be. But that way, the fireworks will cap that off, and we'll have something anyway that is a contingency plan. The fireworks is just something we're going to have.
Okay, no, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about, maybe I lost.
If you're trying to say what happens if I don't raise the money?
No, what I'm asking is, if we approve this, you have half. Once this has been approved, you're not gonna tell them on the 6th you don't want the fireworks, so we'll have the money. You're not gonna tell them that.
I'm not gonna.
I mean, you can't tell them.
I
on
want
the 6th.
permission to move forward with the plan, that's what I'm.
Right, but I'm just asking if, what's the contingency? In other words, are you, and that's what, I'll just ask you the question. If you don't have the money, are you asking the village to pay the difference? That's what I'm asking.
Boy, that question's on. I haven't come up with that alternative plan. Yes, I could do that. That would be one, but I'm hoping not to use any taxpayer money at all. It either be donations or, worst case, I have to ask for that. But I would not sign a contract until such time as we see what we're saying. Like I said, we've got a couple weeks to do that.
Yeah, but really we don't, because if you have half the money, I'm gonna say $2,500 right now, that's half the money. We're looking at, next Tuesday is a voting meeting, so we're gonna get, we need to, if you have a couple weeks, that falls at a committee meeting, there's no voting going on then. So this is something that we need to consider voting on next week. Granted, with the additional fundraisers going on, the additional letters that are going out to businesses asking them to give towards this event, you know, I can understand you hope that you're going to have the money. But you're right, we need to figure out if we didn't receive any more money at all, where can we come up with $2,500? And on top of that, if we did have to take $2,500, next worst case scenario, how will we get the money back from Parks and Recs? I think that's probably the question we need to ask.
Well, Parks and Recs.
Oh, no, well, you're from Parks and Recs, but again, I shouldn't have said Parks and Recs, but how will we get the money back? And I look at you as Parks and Recs, but I shouldn't have said Parks and Recs. So I think this is something we should move forward on, and knowing worst case scenario, the village is going to pay $2,500. But I'm saying that's worst case scenario. I feel pretty confident that I'm sure we could probably get another $500 to $1,000. So looking at, in worst case, the village had to pay $1,000 for fireworks. Does any trustees have a problem with that? Putting on something for the village residents that for $1,000?
Some of the money that even afterwards, we've been renting out to community centers, so the Parks and Recs is pulling in, I think it's $2,600 or whatever it was I showed you last week. Plus we've rented out several times in the month of May.
That 2,600 that you raised, that wasn't for this or was it?
No, I'm
Right,
saying,
that's-
I have that in the Parks and Recs account.
I mean, I know you misspoke, and I agree, but I don't want to necessarily raise funds for Parks and Recs and then use everything that you guys just raised to fireworks. And the fireworks are village function, and the children, as well as adults, will be enjoying that. But I would hope that the money that you raise can go toward an activity, because all we hear about, which is true, kids don't have nothing to do. So I would hope that
So your recommendation is, if I'm hearing you correctly, of the cafeteria money, that we know that $2,500 of that, not to exceed $2,500 if you have half, could be used toward the fireworks. But the trustee will continue doing fundraising and continue reaching out to local businesses.
As well as department heads, elected officials, I mean, we've all, through the government, the elected officials will bring me many checks for $25. I have no problem donating to the fund either. It's something, whenever I ask for donations, citizens come up to me with cash, checks, put it out there, tell them that you want the money, you're raising money, and it seems to always come to me. I think, knock on wood, except for the fireworks, which is $8,000, but I've always gotten what I need for street development day. So I think, I will definitely support the fireworks, and I think that anything, not to be seen, like where I said, see $2,500, I think that might be a good start.
Well, right, the reason I'm asking, because we are entering into a contract, we have to have a plan. We just cannot go and say, then you're gonna tell them 2 weeks ahead of time or right before that we're not gonna do that. We have to have a contingency. My recommendation would be, since we have vendors, and we have pretty decent vendors, talk to the vendors. And I mean by vendors, people that do business with the village. I'm not gonna just name a few, but we have a few of them. Talk to them. You're asking for $2,500, I'm sure, but you talk to the large vendors that we have, give them a proper letter or whatever that they bring, they may want to, and we can give them something in return and say, okay, this is what you did. Because we haven't asked them. Like you said, last year we didn't do that. But I just wanted to make sure I needed you to spell out what your contingency plan was. If you don't raise the money, are you asking the village to pay for it? If we don't, then that's what we have to vote on. We just can't vote on just, a contingency or just we speculate that we're going to do that. We have to vote on a concrete plan. We have to vote on something that's concrete. If we don't have the money and we enter into a contract, we can't go back and say, well, guess what? It's a signed contract. So that would be a contingency that you would, not saying that you get from the vendor, you would get it from the village, that it would be incumbent upon you and your committee to get the money back to the coffers from whoever you get it from. That's all I'm saying.
This is an update, so you know, yes, I have done that. Back on my desk currently are letters for every business in the village that we do, I'm just letting you know. And I've also sent letters to every corporation who we paid over $10,000 to in the last year. So those letters have gone out, they've been out for about.
Well, I didn't know that. Okay, well then that's why I was asking, what was your contingency plan? Because, I mean, you said you raised half, fine, but like Trustee Williams was saying, I don't want to take money out of Parks and Recs, what you're selling for, because that's a separate thing.
Right, I realize that, but.
Okay.
All right. Everyone okay with that then? We'll continue, trustee will continue the fundraising as a worst case scenario. We have $2,500 for the cafeteria fund. Not to exceed $2,500, which would make the whole entire $5,000, but we still want to make sure that we make it out there. And if we don't have to take it, we won't take it. But we don't want to right now. Okay?
I asked the question.
Yeah, we rather not take money from there. All right. Yeah, is there the board like to put this on consent agenda for next Tuesday night? Okay. All right. We'll move to the next, which is consent agenda, since we talked about it all night. No, I just want to make sure only one person's talking. All righty. Consent agenda. The trustee should receive something from the attorneys, give you the description of what a consent agenda is and how it's used. And it's something that this village board, no, not this village board, the previous village boards have used. Tonight we talked about it all night on issues that's going to be on next week's agenda, where we can vote on multiple items at one time with one vote, which approves everything. I would like to go back to consent agenda. In the previous administration, consent agenda was removed from the agendas because we were never using it. Is there any questions or comments? Yes, trustee Mears.
I have no problem with the consent agenda, however, I do feel that if there's a couple of trustees that really not to feel too good about a certain item, then that would be separated from the consent agenda.
Well, it has to be, and the way the consent agenda works is at the beginning, before we move forward, I'll ask if there's any, I have to get the wording from the attorneys, but is there anyone that would like to have something removed from the consent agenda before we move forward? At that time is where a trustee would request for an item to be removed, to be voted under either new business or miscellaneous. I'll find out exactly where it goes. I don't remember right here in front of me. New business, because it'd be something new. So that's where that happens. And then we'll ask for a motion to approve in a second and be able to move forward. Trustee?
Question. Are you saying at the beginning of the meeting or when you get to that item?
When we get to that item. Consent
Okay,
agenda.
that's okay. I thought it was different.
So,
I am super excited about the consent agenda. I'm upset that it went away, and especially when we were doing minutes for office and everything, it just makes a lot more sense. And I think, from my experience with it, anytime a trustee had a concern about an item, there was a discussion about it, that item got removed, the board kind of approved that item could get removed, you could approve it with, item C, we could approve the entire consent agenda, that item would go to new business, and then we would follow through this with that, but I think it's really very fair.
well, for some of us that went to the newly elected officials training, they talked a little bit about consent agendas. And one of the village managers got up there and talked about how they have 100 items that goes on their consent agenda, and then what happens is they may ask for 4 or 5 items to be removed, so they knock off 95 items, and then they go back and go back to those 5 items. And again, when we get in meetings like this, if I feel comfortable asking you all, ask, is it okay with everyone to put this on the consent agenda? If I'm filling you out, looking, if I don't ask for something, because that's probably because I feel that maybe it's something that shouldn't be on the consent agenda and we're not allowed to vote on. Okay? And again, if I don't ask, and someone else asks, can we put this on the consent agenda? We can always be asked. All right? Any other questions or comments? Yes, trustee. Well, they could. It all depends on if the trustees are comfortable on voting on them. Because minutes used to go under consent agenda. But again, we'll wait probably for sure until we have meetings where all the trustees have been there. Again, when you look at consent agenda for the minutes, it's usually the minutes that you've had your whole entire board sitting there. If a trustee had missed that meeting, usually you move that under new business because that trustee may not want to vote for those minutes.
But if we have minutes before, the agenda, we already had a chance to look at them, whether we want to approve them or not.
Correct.
Right?
That's right. Any other questions, comments? All right, move right along, we'll go to public comment. All questions and comments will be directed to the mayor. And I know, let's see here, each speaker will be given 3 minutes to comment on a topic of their choice. Each speaker will be allowed 1 minute opportunity to speak. If you have any questions, comments, please come up to the podium. And trustee is getting the mic.
James Harvey, 223rd place in Brookwood. You missed the item on the agenda that we didn't hear about. And that's number 11, village adjudication call.
We moved that up and we covered that at the
Oh,
beginning.
you did that?
I'm sorry, I should be letting you go for your 3 minutes. I apologize.
No, that's all. One more question. A couple of months ago, I had received a water bill for $98.31. Today, I received a bill for $218.81. How much did the water bill go up? We use the same amount of water in our house now. How much did the water bill go up to?
The water bills are up to $7.50 per thousand.
No, I think it went up a little bit more than that.
No, it's $7.50 per thousand. The other thing too is we tell residents, make sure that you don't have a toilet or a stool that is constantly running, because even a dripping faucet will increase your bill. I don't remember the numbers, but it used to be something like $25, $30 a month, just by a drip. So anything?
My name is Dolores Brady. I have a question because it has me very upset at my own household. New renters coming into town, calling for change on utilities, mainly electric and gas. 3 years ago, I had the same incident, and just recently, first one was ComEd, and now with Nicor Gas. New residents coming in, they give the address, but sometimes they don't correctly say street or place. Well, I've had my service shut off. I mean, not shut off, but discontinued under my name. And I'm on a budget, and I'm getting a refund check because of my accumulated credit. Say, we will connect you to a new address, please inform us. I'm still here. I just had it again happen to me in March. In April, I received a refund because of my credit with the gas company. And nothing can be done. I put passwords, but that doesn't stop it. Now I am going through a lot of hell because I'm not sure if I can get back on the budget with the gas company with Nicor Solutions. They are going to check my history for 3 years of use of gas and determine whether I still qualify for budget, because my gas consumption has been reduced because I have a new efficiency furnace that I bought 4 years ago. My gas has always been low since I've been out here. Because when I first moved out here, my gas bill was $20 for over 6 years. And my neighbors were paying a lot more on the budget. Now this is going on too long. I'm getting too old to have my blood pressure raised because of insufficient information new residents give the utilities. Is there some way the village can help? Thank you.
All right. That's a tough one. I can tell you some things that we're working on is under the budget. The Human Relations Commission is looking to put together a pamphlet and a booklet for new residents, informing them on who to call, again, what they need to do when they move to Sauk Village with some additional information. Under the budget, we're looking at giving them $2,000. I know they went, but at least that's 2/3 of the amount of money that they need to get that booklet out. Again, we have some old flyers and old pamphlets in the front that has a lot of that information on there already. I cannot speak for the gas company. I cannot speak for the electric company. At least your water's not being turned off. I can speak for the water department.
No, that's not that. It's the point. It's very aggravating.
No, I
I'm
understand.
spending too much time
Alright.
trying to correct a problem I did not create.
Okay, and I understand, and again, we're working on getting booklets and pamphlets and things out for new residents, so they know exactly what to do. But let me look into it and see if there's anything else we can do.
But
As
I
of
mean,
right now,
they give their correct address.
so again, your time's up, so we have to move on to the next one, but let me look into it, okay? Doesn't answer your question, but I'll look into it.
Well,
Next,
I'm hoping
all right.
we can find a solution.
All right. Next.
Rose Langston. I think the block party is great, and I certainly hope on part of the guidelines you have something on what they have to do to clean up that evening. Also, the time limit and the noise level. Another thing is, how about the neighbors? Make sure that they are in agreement with all the neighbors. If you have got a few of them, disgruntled neighbors, you may be rejected on having the entire street blocked off. And you need to define to the public what is the public area and what is limited, like the liquor and all that. So, and they should be protecting the children that would be running around. You know, you have to be careful on that. So you do need to really look into it. And the litter is a big thing. We have enough trouble without that, and they should have that. And I don't know if you need a deposit, so if we have to do some other cleanup, it may be something to consider. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Pat Couch, 221st and Shirley. Just a quick question about the refuge company, the new company. When the gentleman was here, he said if we had a question to call his office. I did call his office, and I got a very rude comment from one of the ladies in that office. I called about the green refuge container that we use for branches, grass, and so on. They're charging us $120 for that container. And you only can use it during a certain part of the year to get rid of your grass, because other than that, you can use it during the winter for regular garbage. However, I don't have a lot of garbage, but when I put that can out, I'm having to pay $120 for that service. When I'm looking across the street from my house with a home that has 19 people in it, and they've got 5 or 6 garbage cans, why would we have to pay for one service when they throw everything in those cans and they pick it up? And I couldn't get a straight answer out of the lady. I said, why are we paying? That's a lot of money for just picking up grass in the summertime. And is there an alternative to grass pickup other than the bags and the stickers? Because you put the bags out, and with the rain that we've had lately, if you put bags out, they're going to get wet, and then you try to pick them up. One of the neighbors on 221st had 5 sacks of grass, and it sat there for almost a month because they couldn't pick it up. So if somebody could check and see, or if we could get a good answer for that, thank you.
All right, next.
Javante Hasty, 2832 125th Street. Last week was Clean and Preen week and it was noted or said or posted that you will be able to put out like lawn branches and things of that nature without the bags or without the stickers. I cut the branches out of my backyard, but they're still on my, right on the curb where the garbage goes. Do I have to call Public Works to come and get it, or they just haven't gotten there yet? They were out, my garbage day is on Monday, so they were out prior to Tuesday, because that would have been my next, garbage day due to the holiday. But just that the branches are still there.
Our beautification person's not here tonight. Let me see if I find out. Can you call Heather? You got that address, right?
It's a branch. It's branches.
Right.
2830 225th Street.
All right, let me see what we find out. She'll call Public Works and see.
2830?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Judy Cast, 22318 Merrill. I have a house directly across the street from me that the 2 trees in the parkway, they cut down a whole bunch of bushes, trimmed trees, and trying to spruce the places up. A neighbor did it. The house I'm talking about is empty. All of this stuff is packed between these 2 trees. And it's been there for about 2 weeks now. So it's drying up and then of course getting really wet with the rain. But it hasn't, the village has not made an attempt to pick that stuff up either. But my question is the consensus vote. You're gonna have to explain to me what that is. I got a basic idea on what it is, but I'm uncomfortable with it. I mean, a consensus vote means you get 4 people that say yes to you, so it's already, it's done. I got my consensus vote. Is that it?
No.
Okay, so there's where I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay? And I'm uncomfortable with that if that's the way it is. But if it's not, then I'd like to know exactly what that consensus vote means.
All right.
Okay? That's all I have.
All right, there's two things I think. There's consensus, and there's consent agenda, okay? A consensus is when I look around the table and say, can we move forward on something? And as long as we have four more, we can move forward. A consent agenda is where all the trustees are going to vote yes on everything underneath there. So you could have, example, 10 items. Instead of voting on every single item, asking for a motion, asking for a second, taking a roll call on all 10 items, you can put all 10 items underneath what we call the consent agenda. Before we take the vote on the consent agenda, the mayor would ask, is there anything that the trustees would like to have removed from the consent agenda? Because then you can vote on that separately. Knowing the consent agenda, after you do that, you have a motion, you have a second, and all the trustees should end up voting yes on all those. It takes those 9 or 10 items off the agenda and you move to your next. That's a consent agenda.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, no problem.
216, please. 1632, 216. First of all, I want to say thank you. You came a long way in a short time. I'm very proud of it. And the one thing else that I noticed is that our police department is very visible now. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm talking about in my neighborhood from 217th all the way back over to 215th Street. They're very visible and they are doing the job. The second thing is that the new appointed that you made, I'm one of them. And I think that what I would like to say to the people that's here now is we stop politicking. Let's start moving forward. There's good things can be done. And you're doing a lot of good things. We don't want to turn back and go back and start talking. And I would like to see more people get involved in different things about what you have appointed us to do in the village and try to help move the village forward. That's it. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move to next miscellaneous business, township trustee.
Thank you very much. Just a couple items. For those of you guys who haven't noticed, the Sauk talks are on the back table. I don't. Okay. And then secondly, I wanted to just remind everybody, I know we only have one department head left here. I would like to move forward with the work in progress title. The Village Appreciation Days that we were planning on doing in August. I've stated it for 2 meetings now, that this is something that I wanted to move forward with. And a couple different citizens have come up to me and they've stated that they want to be a part of it. For those of you, because I do see maybe a few new faces in the audience, we're planning the month of August to be an appreciation for our village employees. So I am in the process of scheduling a meeting to kind of get the ball rolling and start the process. So anybody who would like to be a part of that meeting, if you can come see me after this meeting, I need to get your contact information because I actually would like to have a meeting this week. There was a memo that also that went out to department heads to ask them that a member of their department be available for that meeting. It doesn't have to be a department head. I know my department heads are very busy. So if you could ask around to your department and see if anybody would like to be a part of that committee, that would be great. I want to make sure that we get the employees' input when we try to plan some things. And again, I am looking for residents to volunteer, so anybody, and board members. If anybody would like to be a part of that, I think we're not going to, if 2 or more are participating, I don't think it's going to be a violation because we're not talking about direct village business. So it will not be a problem. But if anybody would like to participate, if you could please give me your contact information, name, phone number, and email address, because I would like to set up a meeting for this week. And
Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I would like to give a congratulatory recognition to our fire department. As everyone knows, we had a major fire here this week or last week, and they contained it with the help of other municipalities, but they contained it to just that one house. I understand that was a large fire. So on behalf of myself, and I'm sure the board, I would like to thank the fire department, chief, deputy chiefs, and everyone else that was involved. Police department, he's not here, and also Ezra. I don't know if anyone had a chance to go over there and see that, but it was a real large fire, and they contained it to that one house, which was a testament to themselves. First thing. Second thing, I would like to invite. I will be accepting people that would like to be part of the Intergovernmental Advisory Council. We will, as soon as we get enough people, we will get a date here at the Village Hall with the consent of the council, and we'll get started as soon as possible because there's a lot of things to be done, and I'm really looking forward to making this happen. And then the last but not least, I would like to say, be careful out there. It's getting warm. The weather's changing. And just be careful out there in the neighborhood. This is our neighborhood, and things have changed, and I'm glad that the meetings are much better now. And I'm hoping that it stays that way, and we will move this really forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thursday night, 7 o'clock, will be a Parks and Recs committee meeting. It'll be our first committee. Hopefully we'll have enough people there. We got several people who said they'll be there, so but if you have an interest in helping with the Parks and Recs, please come on by. Friday, we will have the 6th of July celebration committee meeting. We will have that every Friday from now until July at 7 o'clock right here at the community center. We're asking all the residents and friends and to see if you want to decorate up your cars, you want to get your bicycles, your trucks in there. We have applications here at the Village Hall, so you can come fill them out. There's no fee to them, so we'll be looking to have a nice parade. We're also going to be looking for, afterwards, planning on vendors and activities in the park here behind, as well as hopefully fireworks. So it's all in the planning stages, but we need a lot of volunteers. We need judges for the parade. We need people to line up the parade. And just any kind of help that you can bring to it, we will be more than happy to help. And we could really use some money for the fireworks, so I'm putting a plug in right now. Anybody wants to make donations to me after the meeting here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I just want to make a comment. It was brought to my attention by a resident that lives on Peachtree that he works for a pizzeria, and he told me that a couple of their drivers were robbed, mugged, whatever the case may be, and one of those businesses are no longer coming into Sauk Village. He said that they did make a complaint with the police department and stuff like that, but it really hurts our residents that when we have businesses that won't come in our community because they're afraid or the drivers are afraid. So if anybody sees anything, they should contact local authorities and make a complaint because it really hurts all residents of Sauk Village when this happens. So that's it.
Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just want to invite everyone out to our first Neighborhood Watch Committee meeting. It's going to be on this coming Thursday at the fire station. That's right across from the Marathon gas station. The address is 1804 222nd Street. It will be meeting every first Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock. I would like to invite all the residents, especially I'm looking for representation from each and every subdivision or block to come and be a part of this Neighborhood Watch program. We're going to be ordering all kinds of books and materials, and Trustee Myers and I are still working together on that. We're going to have signs to let people know coming into the village that we are a Neighborhood Watch village-wide. The best thing that we can do for curtailing a lot of activity that is not wanted on our block is to encourage our neighbors to turn their lights on. As I've been driving around the village, I have noticed a lot of people, for whatever reason, have not been turning their lights on as much as they used to. So I've been talking to them, and I'm asking everyone to be a committee of one on your block, to just remind your neighbors, especially if they have bushes around their front doors and back doors and tall fence, privacy fence, to turn their lights on the front and the back. Summer is out. Our students are out for approximately 70+ days. So they're walking. I got a call last night. Last night we were over on Peterson, and we got 3 people to volunteer to be on the neighborhood watch committee, 3 different households. So that was awesome. And we're going to be continuing to ask people on their own blocks if they will come. So this Thursday, if you would help me by letting people know, I want them to come and meet us at the fire station at 7 o'clock. We're actually going to be setting up block captains as well as organizing the blocks. And secondly, I talked to Pastor First Lady Beverly Pitts of our own church right here in Sauk Village Holy Praise Tabernacle, and they are having Pastor Pitts' first anniversary, his church right here, Sunday, and it's open to the entire village. They're going to have free food for everybody, whoever wants to come. You can pass these around, please. And she asked me if I would bring this information and disseminate it to the board, and just to make the announcement that they want to invite everybody in the village to come by Pastor John Pitts and his wife, First Lady Beverly Pitts, and just congratulate them. They've been in ministry 10 years, but this is their first year being in Sauk Village. So I'd like to encourage you all to go by and just say hello and to celebrate them as well. Thank you.
Trustee Myers?
Thank you, yes, Mayor. Just a couple of things. In order the third Wednesday of this month, and ordinance review, meet 7 o'clock here in this building. I believe it's been 19. I have several new members, and we're going to kick it off with a couple of new ordinances that you guys asked us to look into. The other thing is that there's a parade, John talked about it a little bit. Trustee, okay. And listen, let's get involved. I don't care. Get out there and walk in the parade, get bicycle ride in the parade. Let's get the residents involved in this parade. Who knows, maybe I can get Rosie to walk out there with me down the parade and everything. But let's all get involved, and let's get, show the people in this town that we're all involved in this. So I invite each and every one of you to fill out the form and get somebody, get your kids in, get your neighbors in, come out and join the parade. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee. All right. Well, okay. Lastly, just a couple things I just wanted to cover. Coming up, I think it's August 9th up. We're asking that we'll bring more information to the board, but it's on a board meeting night in August. I don't remember the date, August 4th. So if you're looking for the village board, that we will not have a meeting that night. I would ask the trustees and the residents to come out. I think I'm not going to, probably in the next committee meeting, let's have Trustee Williams and Deputy Village Clerk Williams is working on getting all the information. So we'd like to have a good night. I mean, this is something that's done nationwide, and Sauk Village has never done it. So at least as long as I've been on board. So I'd like to get the residents to come out, and I think they're planning events already, or getting things in the works. So August the 4th, instead of coming here and watching us meet, let's all get out and have some fun that night. Let's get together as a community. So it's called Nights Out. It's a nationwide event. So again, getting the village back together. We want everyone to come out. Let's have a good time. Bring your grills. Let's do some cooking, and let's have some fun. So that's August 4th. Next 2 weeks, we should on the agenda, please. Yes. So we can discuss it, let the board know, let the residents know what we're planning on doing that night. The other thing too is, while I'm thinking of it, I'll catch you later, but remind me, I need to talk to you about the kennels license that we currently have. I have a question for you on that one, okay? Other than that, I don't have anything else. So we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much.